Hey, good morning, East Texas. Hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Friday. Well, for most of us, I should say. There's a little bit of a soggy pattern off to our south. We're going to continue to watch that as we continue to move forward through this afternoon. We're currently streaming live on our CBS19 Plus streaming app, as well as YouTube and Facebook. I do have the Facebook live stream up in case you have any questions. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I will be sure to get to them. And even if you have a question and after the live stream has ended, I will be sure to go back and answer it for you. But like I said, we're continuing to track CBS19 live radar this morning, and we got plenty of rainfall falling, especially in our southeastern corner of our viewing area. Let's take you over to CBS19 live radar here. Lots of rainfall that is continuing to fall. We've continued to watch this through this morning, and we've seen plenty of it. We've seen plenty of rainfall. These are weakening showers. They're still packing in some very moderate to heavy rainfall in some of these showers, but not really looking at thunderstorms. We're mainly just looking at showers, but even so, they've been just kind of sitting right over the same area for long periods of time. You see how it's kind of moving to the west, but it's also just sitting on top of the same area. Yeah, there's some definite flooding issues over there. We have estimated rainfall values between 4 and maybe even up to 6 inches in some locations. That's from those thunderstorms, which are now showers alone. Some of it is some of our area may be seeing a little over an inch of rain, but definitely Sabine County and parts of San Augustine County seeing 4 to 5 to maybe even 6 inches of rain in some locations. And we're going to continue to track this area of rain for the next several hours here. We're expecting it to eventually move to the north and west and eventually fizzle out once it gets over to the I-20 corridor. But here's a little bit of a zoomed out picture of what we're watching here. So area of high pressure off to our east, that's keeping us hot. This is our tropical wave that we've been tracking for several days now, and that is what's giving us the rain. So we got a ton of moisture from that, and the weak winds aloft combined with the moisture at the surface is making for that possibility of flooding. And we're definitely seeing plenty of rainfall in our southeastern zone there, and we're going to continue to see that through the next few hours here until we can finally get the rain to eventually move closer to the I-20 corridor. So I think a lot of us are going to be staying dry, but for those of you who are not going to be staying dry, especially along and south of the I-20 corridor, I definitely could see at least a half an inch to an inch of rainfall, maybe not so much as 5 to 6 inches, which has been the case for our southeastern zone. That's all because that's all due to the weak winds aloft not really moving it that much. We call that, and there's also additional development, and we call that training. So there's a little bit of that going on. So that is why we're getting so much rainfall in some of our southeastern zones. Wouldn't be too surprised to see some additional rainfall of at least a half an inch to an inch all the way up to the I-20 corridor. So not all of us seeing rain, but for those of us that do, we'll see plenty of rainfall. But only 30% chance for rain today all across East Texas, and an additional 30% chance for Saturday as well. And then once this moisture moves out of the way, we'll be very dry, but we'll also be warming up quite a bit here. So let's break it down by the area. So our highest chance of rain, as we've seen so far, is our southeastern zone here. Now, it's tracking to the northwest, and as it continues to do so, it's going to eventually weaken into light showers. So we're going to continue to watch as that happens. It'll likely make it to about the I-20 corridor sometime around the middle to late afternoon. I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4 p.m. And there could be some occasional heavy downpours, but I think most of us will just see some light rain. I don't think flooding is really a widespread threat today. I definitely see that there have been reports of several inches of rainfall in our southeastern zone, but I think as soon as we are able to get this rain off to the north and west, it'll start to fizzle out and we won't see quite as much rain. So I'm not really expecting anything to the level of Sabine County and some of our southeastern counties as well. As we go into Saturday, again, most of the rainfall going to be focused in our southeastern counties. As you move north and west, still a chance for rain, maybe a passing shower. It's going to be one of those days. It's not going to be this big area of rain. That's going to be an entire washout, kind of what we're seeing now. It's more so going to be kind of waves of passing showers and thunderstorms that come in through the day. So that's kind of what we're watching for tomorrow. But let's see what future Skycast says. Whew, words are fun today, y'all. As we look at our future Skycast, here's dinner time. This is the area of thunderstorms that we're watching now. And as it continues to move north and west, it will start to weaken a little bit. It could have a little bit of heavy downpours within the band of thunderstorms. But as we move through the night, see how it weakens. We lose a lot of energy from the day, and overnight tonight will be pretty dry for the most part until we get to, this is Saturday morning, this is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Most of us just dealing with cloud cover, but a handful of us seeing just some light showers. And this is what Saturday afternoon looks like. So just waves of passing showers, especially for our southeastern zone here, with temperatures in the low to mid 90s. For those of us who don't see rain, definitely going to be hotter than some. And then as we move into Saturday evening, when all is said and done, we'll be drying out. And then for Sunday, that starts our trend of hot, hot, and hot. We're talking about some of the hottest temperatures we've seen so far in the year 2025. Our hottest day of the year, once again, we haven't broken it yet, was July 12th, and that was at 95 degrees. Now, we do have a chance to beat that as we go into next week. We could be approaching 100 by the time we get to the later parts of next week. We'll take a look at that 7-day forecast in just a second here. But tonight, we clear out, light winds, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the middle 70s. Here is that 7-day forecast. So once the moisture moves out of the picture, here comes the temperature trend upward. So notice we have 95 for Sunday, 96 to 97 for the beginning and middle of next week, and then we approach 98 as we head into Thursday. So quite a warm stretch coming into the area as we go into next week. So that's kind of what we're tracking. I think certainly if you have any outdoor plans this evening, definitely may want to recheck that, especially for, again, if you live along and south of I-20, we'll time this out one more time on our future Skycast here. So as we look at our future Skycast once again, so see how it starts in the southeastern zone here. That's what we're tracking it now. This is the predicted outlook for noon today. So by noon, it'll still be hanging out in our southeastern zone. But once we continue on through, looks like there could be some additional development that could produce some heavier downpours, mainly in our eastern half of the viewing area. So some of us definitely could get in on some heavy downpours, maybe at least a half an inch to an inch of rain, as mentioned before. I think it's really just going to depend on how far we can get it north. Again, the winds are really, really weak in our upper levels. That's why it's not really moving that much. We saw that CBS19 live radar picture, and it's just sitting on top of our southeastern zone here, and that's where we're seeing several inches of rain. I do think there is a chance that that will move out of the way and it'll start to weaken just a little bit, maybe a couple of heavier downpours possible, but you notice we lose a lot of heat of the day as we go into tonight, and that will begin to fizzle out and we'll be just left with some cloud cover. So that's kind of what we're tracking now. As we go into Saturday morning, a couple of showers. Tomorrow, it's going to be just kind of couple waves of passing showers, nowhere near the extent of, the extremity of this, So we are only predicting maybe a couple of passing showers here and there for tomorrow. And then we are dry and much hotter as we go into next week. So that is kind of what we're tracking. This tropical wave, we've been talking about it for several days. We knew this was going to be impacting East Texas to some extent, and boy, it is certainly impacting some locations. Here's one last look at estimated rainfall here. Again, this is for mainly Sabine County, so just around the Hemp Hill area, 4 to even 5.5 to maybe even 6 inches of rain. just from this morning, and it's continuing on as well. There could be some additional rainfall amounts that this thing is not picking up yet because we have that radar picture still showing those heavy rain, heavy rain and thunderstorms, I should say, over the southeastern corner there. So one more look at CBS19 live radar. Again, still watching heavy rain ongoing, and it looks like it's starting to fall apart ever so slightly. We'll watch very closely for any additional development, because we are also clear ahead of this area of rain, and that's going to produce a lot of heat, a lot of energy to really keep these things going. So we'll kind of keep an eye on it, but as it continues to move north and west, it's starting to fall apart a little bit, and that's the hope, that it'll continue to fall apart. But it is starting to move out of Sabine County, out of San Augustine County, starting to move into parts of Nacogdoches County, but you can see how it's just really, really weakening. I think we're losing a lot of energy here. So I don't think we'll see the extent of rain that we've seen, again, for our southeastern zone here, as it is moving out pretty quickly and starting to fall apart. But we'll kind of watch very closely for any additional development. Now, there is some cooler air ahead of it as well, at least to the west of it. That's rain-cooled air. And so it doesn't, do as much for your rain showers as maybe some hotter and more humid air, which is to the north. So we'll kind of, again, watch for any additional development. We're going to have some updated details for you on the noon show. I know this was a lot of information, but thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you have any questions, comment below. And I will be sure to get to them. But again, join us on the noon show today. I'll have some updated information. We'll have an updated look at the radar. We'll kind of have a better idea of how this band of rain is going to behave in the matter of an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll continue to watch this. I'll continue to be in our weather center here watching this. And join me on the noon show for additional information. So we'll see you there. Have a great day, everybody.